Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Retain, Grow, Thrive, the Growave podcast. I'm your host, Joe Fox, president of Growave. Today I'm super excited. We have an absolute e-commerce industry veteran, someone who is very well versed in high-end e-commerce, has been a part of this industry for a very long time, worked with some amazing brands like the LVMH group, knows a lot about AI, machine learning, etc. So I'm really excited, and I think there's going to be a lot of value that the audience can derive from this episode. So, Mike Lee, welcome. You've got some really cool products that you work with. You've got a really cool agency. So tell us a little bit more about you. Like you've got so much experience in this space. So I want to caveat for the audience that it's going to be hard for me to keep this under 30 minutes because there's so much I want to dive into. But Mike, can you just welcome first of all, and can you tell the audience a little bit about you and what you're up to?
Sure. Thank you, Joe. I'm very happy to be here. So I'm Mike Lee. I'm the co-founder of performance marketing agency CBI Digital and the inventory AI startup, Conative AI. I'm an immigrant entrepreneur. I grew up in Vietnam and I came to New York in 2005 to get my master degree. And I randomly met my co-founder, Jen Bui, on the F train in New York. And we
Wow.
talked and we become good friends. And we decided to just start a company together. Let's chase the American dream. I didn't know how hard it would be. So that is CBI Digital that we run together now for 18 years. Since the early days of SEO, the early days of Facebook ad, all the way now we're into the AI era, right? So we scaled to over 100 people in our offices in New York and Vietnam, working with both enterprise clients and a lot of e-commerce brands. And in the last 3 years, we got about 15 industry award recognitions, including the US Agency Award 2025. And 3 years ago, I started my second company, Conative AI. Um, we aim to reduce overstock and understock in inventory for retail brands and optimize cash flow by using the latest deep learning AI technology to replace the traditional forecasting approach. Yeah, so
That's
that's the
that's
journey.
that's amazing. I love this because I really like diving into this because as you know, Mike, like I owned an agency in Australia before I worked on the tech side, so there's some similarity there. And then my first kind of role moving into tech side was for a Scandinavian company, very much based in AI and machine learning and using big data sets to be able to essentially optimize Google ads and make business intelligence decisions for companies like Toyota and stuff like that. So I feel like there's a lot of crossover here, which I love. And also, like yourself, I'm an immigrant to the US more recently and trying to chase the American dream too. So I really love that. There's always a lot of similarities, but there's a lot with you, Mike. So thank you so much. And look, congratulations too. Let me first off by saying that on the
Thank
plethora
you.
of awards. I know that we're lucky enough to work with Ari on a regular basis, and obviously I've congratulated him, but I want to extend that congratulations to you and the entire CBI digital team because this is a very competitive space, right? Like the agency space is super competitive. There's a lot of amazing agencies, but to be recognized for that is really cool. So thank you again for joining us. Thank you for your accolades. And I want to kind of really like because we've got a short amount of time today. I want to unpack two main things. So the first thing I want to unpack is some stuff around the CBI stuff. And then I think we can move into Conative and talk about why that's important. And
Sure.
maybe at the end, get your predictions on agency and AI. But in saying that, Mike, what's the main sort of obviously, you've got some really good accolades there. You've got a lot of experience agency wise, and CBI has been recognized for that. What are the main things that CBI are focusing on for merchants at the moment? And is there a particular use case that you'd like to talk about so the audience can understand that?
So I would say for 18 years, we are performance marketing agency. So we have branched off two things, right? We have solve the growth problem when you need to
Yep.
create high growth for the merchant, and we turn around decline situations. So I don't know why, but most brands come to us with very major challenges at the time. Like they set up with us. I rarely get easy brands to work with in the first days, right? Um, in the good days, anybody can run your digital campaigns. But in the
Mm.
tough times, you need to really know what you're doing and what creates
Yes.
the impact, right? What truly create the results. So I would say that brand and merchants usually we have budget, we have ideas, but we're not always sure that which idea will work. So, in order to allocate budget to the right place that can create your growth, you need to truly dig deeper into the data, see beneath the surface to find the root cause of what really slowing you down, or what are the lever for growth. So at CBI, we ensure that the brand only spend money and resources and time on the idea that give us high returns. Now, I would say that as a marketer, we only have 20 ways to spend money, but there will be three ways that give us more return than the rest 17 combined. The question is to know which three. So our focus is always to know very deep into the analytical mindset, to know where we should really focus the resource to create the leverage and to create and nurture the momentum for growth for brands. To give you an example, we work with a brand called Melinda Maria. I think for 4 years now, and when we first signed on, the brand was in the decline. We lost more than 50% of revenue in less than a year after a very high growth period, right?
Wow.
And it is because when the brand go through a very high growth period, the structure and operation is not ready for that kind of scale.
Hmm.
So create a lot of operational problems, and we came in as an agency together with the brand, stabilize the ship, optimizing the digital marketing funnel. And in the next 3 years, we go from less than 10 million to over $30 million in 3 years in online sales. And
Wow.
we have that kind of growth with various brands that we work with. Um, so that's one of the use case for us to do as a growth agency on the agency side. Now, there is another story I want to share is also on the transition from the SEO to AIO and AI
Yes, I'm
sophistication.
super. I love
Right.
this because this is super topical and it's blending the both. So I love this. I love this.
So the we work with this client, First Citizen Bank, not a merchant but a bank, for SEO for like 5 years, and we got like top ranking for keyword like like open like online checking account, like very competitive keyword in the financial space. The ranking is as competitive, higher than Chase or Wells Fargo and other leading banks, like for First Citizen Bank. But in the last 2 years, the whole effort that we put in was on, optimizing the cost of retrieval and entity schema so the AI engines can pull our information into the AI answers. So we do that for 2 years to the point that, the bank appear on various AI engine answers when we question about the banking services. So this year, when the bank leadership start like paying attention to winning on AIs like very early, we're already there. The bank is
Yes.
already winning on the AI space. So that's the one thing that I think it is a must for us to take a step ahead
Yes.
and
Yes.
care about the imminent trend that can drive our success. And so there's a few stories I share as an agency that we have our client, both merchant and enterprise client with on SEO and growth.
That's so incredible. And I mean, I have quite a lot of different agencies that come on board, and a lot of them are focused on, these LLM kind of optimization and everything like that. But to be doing it with a merchant of that scale and to be so far ahead of the curve is amazing. Mike, may I ask, like, what is if we're thinking about this from an audience perspective, what are some of the things that, a Shopify e-commerce merchant should be thinking about to get ahead of the curve? I mean, obviously, when it comes to a big bank,
Mm.
or a big financial lender, their needs might be a little bit different. But taking from all of your experience of CBI and everything that's, super topical at the moment, What is one thing that you would recommend to smaller Shopify merchants at the moment that they focus on?
I have more than one things. I believe that AI is so broad and it actually touch every part of the merchant operations that we should really focus on. But I would say it's super critical for us to know that AI today is table stake. Getting on AI is no longer to gain competitive advantage.
Yes.
Just get to the AI race just to stay in business because everybody are using LLM like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, as well as Nano Banana or Veil to create copy, creative. Everybody using AI to focus on productivity and ideations and speed up the time to results. So the first thing that we all as a merchant as a team and the business in this time, we just need to get on AI. That's the first thing. AI, obviously, you can focus on all the creatives, on the copy, on the AI automations. We, as an agency, every every week we release two AI agents that
Yes.
specialize in certain part of the expertise we deliver for the clients because that is something we just have to do. Our SEO team, our PP team today can actually use vibe coding to build various AI apps to
Wow.
execute on certain tasks in digital marketing that we need to deliver. And the beauty of that is that we don't need to get the support from our developers at all. It's all non-tech people using vibe coding, having ChatGPT write code for the Google AI Studio to build an app and refining the app to execute on that. And that become a mandatory for us that we have to change not only the implementation, but the mindset of letting
Yes.
go what drive a success in the past to
Yes.
embrace this AI journey to get us on this having a bunch of AI agent execute on the job, getting AI automation to do the job. So we, the people, can focus on strategy and thinking and to know what is going on. For example, AI can get us data, but analyzing the data to know the root cause and make decisions on where to focus on to drive the growth is still us as a strategist to do. I don't think
Yes.
we can trust our agent to do that yet. Maybe one day
Yes.
in the near future, but as of now, it is for on us. So I tell our team that if your value is hard work, you're not ready for the future. AI is hardworking, is more hardworking than you, is less drama than you. You don't
Yes.
ask for the raise. Uh, so the reality is that is we have all need to become a thinker and force ourselves to deploy AI in the majority of the execution what we are doing now. So that's the first thing. Like get on building AI agent, get on automation to automate the majority of the work we do. And the moment you overcome the initial hurdle, it become a flow. And
Yes.
deploying AI will be get much easier and easier. So that's why we see that get on AI, it is the race to survive, actually not the race to get ahead. Now, the one thing also I want to share that most people use AI for marketing efficiency and productivity and ideation. I think for us as CBI, we also like we want to use AI for operational efficiency, for inventory efficiency, which is a lot less people are focusing on. Because I
Yes.
think that the key to optimizing the cash flow for a brand to win in the future, you not only need to have marketing superiority, you also need to have better cash flow, more efficient
Yes.
operation. So
Yep.
that's another thing when we do with Conative AI, when we build out the technology, is because we want to use AI to optimize the inventory efficiency, the sync with the marketing side to drive the growth.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so much to unpack there. And just to touch on what you were saying around the AI thing, I had to chuckle because, particularly around, marketers having to create all of this content and do all of these things. I remember when I had my agency and we were doing SEO and it was just this consistent output of like consistently, trying to, get rankings and do all of these things and creating all this content and doing all of this link building. And it was just so consuming, like
Yes.
the sheer amount of human input was just massive because there's only so much writing that a person can do. But to your point, AI is incredibly hardworking because it takes care of a lot of that. So that's really cool. I want to stay on this topic that you just kind of mentioned there, around the inventory planning, and I couldn't agree with you more. I think, cash flow, inventory planning. You can't just have the best marketing. You can't just have the highest amount of traffic. You can't just have the highest amount of conversion. You need to think operationally and how things are managed on the back end as an e-commerce, store owner or e-commerce manager or e-commerce person. So tell me a little bit more about the product. How was the product conceived? What are the main kind of, core components of the product that make it so valuable for the customer?
So I first want to share that why I created this product in the first place. So as a
Yes.
agency owner doing in business for so many years, right, I start seeing this problem that become very big problem, but very few people perceive that as a problem. Is a disconnect between marketing and inventory. I've seen many times a marketing campaign flopped because it promote the product that very low on stock and
Mm.
out stock very quickly. So all the advertising dollars are now forced to sell on the rest of the portfolio that are not that high performing.
Yes.
It is another thing that many times the inventory team buy a lot of stocks on certain SKU that they cannot sell. It moves very slow. And they ask marketing team to spend ad dollars to move those stocks. And the
Yes.
reason those stock is out is overstock because people don't want it that much. And you
Yeah.
cannot spend the dollars to move them out, right? So
Yes.
I realized that the disconnect between marketing and inventory create a lot of inefficiency and hurt the profit of the brands. And and that's why the first thing, when I talk more with the brand, I realized that a lot of brands, especially growing brand doing 10, $15 million, we all use spreadsheets somehow to do inventory
Yes.
buying this season. You can have
Yes.
ERP, you can have a lot of tools, but then you export it to spreadsheet, and then you merge them together, and then you use the spreadsheet to make decision. So
Yeah.
I realized it is a very cumbersome problem. It created a lot of pressure both on inventory team and also it created a lot of inefficiency problem for the marketing team. So I create Conative AI. First, we are the first inventory AI agents to optimize the inventory planning and buying process. Now, the first we have a data engine that pull data from all the Shopify marketing channel like Google or Meta Analytics, also ERP sources on inventory and on order and purchase order stocks. Like we have all of that information planned in,
Wow.
and we use deep learning technologies to do demand forecasting that way more like accurate and lower
Yes.
risk than the traditional approach, like rule-based approach, like most people use, or some early version of math-based or early version of machine learning approach for demand forecasting. Now, the beauty of deep learning is that it can do forecasting better with time series data, and this is really good for e-commerce and for Amazon sellers because these channels we have real-time data coming in that can be used
Yes.
to train the deep learning models, right? And the second is that deep learning can take in a lot more factors to forecast than the traditional way, which only can take a few key factors into the planning. And because of that, we can solve various outlier cases that make the forecast possibly inaccurate in the past. Now, to
Yes.
give you an example, if last year you sell 1,000 unit on a SKU, but you're actually out of stock 15 days of the month,
Hmm. Hmm.
this year, you have stock for the whole month. You cannot rely on last year's sale to do planning for this year. But there is no place in the tool to get that information in. You have to rely on your memory to do the planning in the traditional way. But with deep learning, we have historical stock out data feed as a part of the model that we train the
Amazing.
model. So we deal with those outlier cases that give us like much closer to the truth in the forecasting. So that's Conative is about. And also we connect marketing signals into the forecasting process. So if you triple the ad spend, your demand should be higher, right?
Yes. Yep.
So all of those things in the traditional inventory approach on current inventory tools, they don't have marketing signals. They don't have, way to deal with that kind of situation. Uh, but with Conative, we aim to provide a better forecasting and better inventory optimization by solving the problem at deeper level.
I love that. I mean, I've got to start by saying this, Mike. I feel like spreadsheets do not like you, and buyers, buying planners definitely do like you because I mean that's such an incredible gap in the market that you filled. I mean, I can only imagine the tens of millions, probably hundreds of millions that this has helped save brands. And I think not only is it saving brands, it's saving wastage, which I think is great on an environmental kind of perspective because, as you said, a lot of the time that when these products aren't moved, if there's one particular SKU that no one's interested in, well, I'm sure that goes to wastage. So that's an amazing feat. But I think being able to save everyone so much time and utilize AI and deep learning to be able to provide these insights is just absolutely amazing. And I have no doubt that, a lot of our audience will be very interested in talking to you about this. I just want to unpack this just a little bit more because I think that it's fascinating to me how one tool can do so many things. What do you see on the roadmap in terms of product development? Will you lean kind of further into what this can do from a marketing insight perspective, further into things from a logistical shipping perspective? What are your thoughts there, Mike?
So for Conative AI, it took me about over 2 years to build out the model and testing the reliability and accuracy to the point that the brand can trust it. Uh,
Yes.
you know, we also have a risk control layer to make sure that even if the brand like blind trust AI, we will not,
Yes.
it will not put the brand into any major risk at all, right? So the
Yep.
algorithm is very, very strong. I'm confident about that. Now, what is ahead for us, which make me very excited about, is that we now launch the full AI agents model for the tool.
Mm,
So we're moving from the data UI to the visual UI, choose the agent experience now. So you can
yes.
have AI agent handling your inventory almost in a autonomous way so that the agent can flag to you any risk you need to pay attention to. It can create
Wow.
the PO for you. It can show you what changed in your sales for each specific portfolio so you can
Wow.
really focus on, and it can do the planning for you, it can do the buying for you. So that's what I'm excited about. Now that's where the AI model we create is proprietary, but we leverage the LLM for the AI agent building. So we can put all this forecasting data and the actual data into the AI agent so it can learn and execute the task uh, for the brands and for the inventory team as well as the marketing team. And that focus for me right now is on the roadmap. That's what make me the more excited about.
That's amazing. My goodness, I'm so impressed. This is awesome. I mean, I get to talk to a lot of, founders who are launching various products and who are really AI focused, but this conversation is amazing. I'm absolutely blown away. I have a lead in mind actually, so so that's a really good sign. On that note, look, as I said at the start of this, I think, it's difficult for me to stay under 30 minutes because I could talk forever with you. This is fascinating and I really enjoy this conversation. Um, I just want to focus on a couple of last little things because otherwise I know we're going to go much over time, Mike. But I definitely would love to do a part two of this. And this kind of feeds into my next question. With your experience across product, agency, e-commerce in general. You're working with some amazing brands. You're obviously working with, big banks and all sorts of things. When we narrow down and focus on e-commerce for 2026, what are your predictions for 2026? What do you think we're going to see in e-commerce? And I'm open to discussing a few because I think I'd love to get your insights on this, and I'm sure the audience would too.
So it all comes down to how effective we are with acquiring new customers, right? I've seen that the landscape is no longer as easy as it used to be a few years ago. It's
Yes.
getting more competitive. The consumer demand is kind of like lower than before. So we know that on average, I see brand often plateau and have to work really hard to acquire new customers. Uh, but I also see that great brands keep growing. That's the thing.
Yes.
It's all come down to how effective we are in acquiring new customers. Now there are a few directions I see brands take, right? Uh, Brands can be more efficient with acquiring customer with marketing mix, with paid channels, with affiliate, with advertising. You can move. I see brand from D2C brand move to selling on Amazon as well, or selling
Yes.
TikTok shop as well, right?
Yep.
So we're expanding the marketplace just to find more users and hopefully at a more cost effective way. Now, in my view, across all the choices that brand can choose to grow and acquire users, still Meta and Google still the best performing channels of all. I tried uploading, I tried TikTok, I tried all other channels. As of now, I still think that the Meta and Google ad channels still consume the biggest budget efficiently.
Yep.
But
Yep.
one things to remember, we should not let the algorithm run our entire campaign. We should not
Mm.
trust the algorithm as the algorithm say we should. Because
Yes.
what I
Yep.
learned is that algorithm not always fair. It can be biased at times.
Mm.
So
Mm.
from the way we structure the campaign, we can control the budget. We need to take back control a little bit to really focus the budget on the products and the channels that work. And for CBI, we're a very big believer in the connection between product, inventory, and marketing. We always want to allocate the spend, the majority of the spend on the SKUs that can move fast. Because that's
Yes.
how you can use it to acquire new customers effectively, right?
Yep.
So that's the one thing with marketing channels, like why we trust that we need to leverage the platform algorithm to acquire users. We need to take control of that to make sure our budget is well spent on the right SKUs, on the right audience, on the right creatives, because the algorithm do not do that, always do that for us automatically. By moving to other marketplaces like TikTok shops or Amazon, one thing we want to pay attention to is that those platforms require a different mindset than the D2C
Mm.
mindset. Completely
Yep.
different. The
Yes.
consumers on Amazon are not D2C consumers. So what makes us successful in D2C will not make us successful on other platform. We have to learn that platform from scratch and apply the new set of best practice. So that is the trap that if we're not careful is very easy to fall under, uh, to use the way we think in D2C to apply to other platform, which will make us like underperform on those platforms. So those are the few things I think on the trend. Is all come down to like better, like user customers, customer acquisition, like new customer acquisition is all about the CAC, the prospecting CAC, and be really good at that.
I love that. That's so cool. And I think, to your point, as a marketer, or as marketers or as e-commerce owners, we need to evolve our thinking to match where the potential new audiences are. So that's fascinating. I love that. That's a very, very good point. And then the other sort of question that I think everyone, who's watching right now is like, how do we find out more? Like what's the best way, Mike, for the audience to connect with you, to hear more about everything that you're up to hear your insights? Is it LinkedIn? Would you like people to visit the CBI website? What's the best way for people to keep up to date with what you're up to and what you're doing? And ultimately, I have no doubt that there are a lot of people watching the podcast right now who are saying, I need the inventory planning ASAP. And as I said, I've got that lead for you too. So where is the best place for people to connect with you?
So I'd love to connect to everyone via my email, Mike Lee, Mikele at cbidigital.com. I'm happy to reach out just to have a conversation and share some ideas that could be hopefully be helpful to people. So that's the best. And also reach out to me via LinkedIn. my LinkedIn handle is Mike Lee CBI. So it's linkedin.com/in/Mike Lee CBI. Um, and I love to stay in touch with people. It's
Amazing, amazing, Mike. Thank you so much, and I'll make sure all of those links are in the show notes. I'm absolutely blown away by this conversation, Mike. I very much look forward to doing a part two of this conversation. I think it'll be really cool if we aim to do a part two and really dig into the predictions and sort of what people are doing and figuring out what people are doing to acquire more customers. I think we could almost do an entire episode just on that. So I'm really excited for that, Mike. And look, thank you so much for everything you do for the industry. Thank you so much for coming on today. I cannot express enough gratitude for the value that you've delivered to the audience and the value you've delivered to me. So, Mike, it's a pleasure. Thank you for the partnership we have with CBI Digital as well. And I look forward to continuing that partnership and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Joe. It had been so much fun.
I really appreciate it. Thank you, Mike. Audience, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. As you saw, there were so many great, amazing points that Mike and I unpacked in a very short period of time. As I said, I could have spoken to Mike forever. I mean, the amount of experience and the wealth of knowledge that he has across both of his amazing companies and his award-winning agency and his background. So, audience, I really encourage you to take Mike up on that. Please connect with him on LinkedIn, shoot him through an email, check out CBI Digital, see what is going on with the product and the inventory planning front. All of those links are in the show notes. But thank you for tuning into this episode of Retain, Grow, Thrive. I look forward to seeing you at the next episode. And if there's a particular guest that you'd like to see us have a conversation with, please, please, please mention them in the comments and we'll do our best to get them on. You've been great. Thank you. And I'll talk to you soon.